Good morning. Welcome to today's New York City Council hearing on the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. No one may approach the dais. Chair, you may begin.
Good morning and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Farrah Lewis, Chair of the Subcommittee. This morning I'm joined by members of the committee, Council Members Shulman, Felder, Encarnacion, Sanchez, and Thomas Henry. Today, and joined by Councilmember Epstein. Today, we are holding two public hearings on a sidewalk cafe proposal by Danino in Councilmember Epstein's district and 147-14 Northern Boulevard residential mixed-use rezoning in Councilmember Ung's district. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or via Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council website at www.council.nyc.gov/land use. To sign up, or for those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to prepare and submit a speaker card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if you are joining us remotely, you may remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony that you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony that you would like to submit instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU number and project name in the subject line of your email. We request that witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until excused by the chair, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for anyone attending the meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. I now open the public hearing on LU numbers 58 regarding an application for a sidewalk cafe by Daninos located in Greenwich Village in Chair Epstein's district. The request is to operate 6 outdoor tables with 2 chairs each. For anyone wishing to testify regarding this proposal remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to submit a speaker card. If you would prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now call the applicant panel, I will now recognize Councilmember Epstein for remarks.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank the committee for allowing us to hear this today. We had heard concerns from the community board about the ability to make sure this cafe was ADA accessible and making sure that people with mobility devices could use this outdoor, and there was a clear pathway that remained during the busy and non-busy season. So, I'd love to hear from the applicant and make sure to hear their plans about how that would occur.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Good morning.
I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Joseph Castellano. Council, please administer the affirmation.
Good morning. Could you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Joseph Castellano.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony this morning in response to council member questions?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
You may begin your testimony, which is limited to 8 minutes, and I will just ask you to please restate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
Joseph Castellano, owner and operator of Danino's Pizzeria and Tavern in Greenwich Village. I applied for Sidewalk Cafe, and I was told I had to come to this meeting to make sure that my Sidewalk Cafe would be ADA compliant. The sidewalk cafe, I believe, was already approved by the DOT. Prior to COVID, we always had a sidewalk K approval there for many years. And, the sidewalk cafe will be, um, it will be compliant with the ADA rules. There will be plenty of space to pass. Um, I already have the street dining from the beginning of last year when it started. And on a side note, there are many restaurants on McDougal Street that already have the sidewalk cafe, which everyone has the same exact size sidewalk as I do, and they have all been approved. So I'm here today to say that I will abide by the rules and just hoping to get it accomplished.
Thank you, Joseph. We will now hear we'll take questions from Councilmember Epstein.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being with us today. So, just explain to us how the sidewalk cafe meets the ADA requirements if the sidewalk cafe is only 2 feet wide?
Well, I think the whole sidewalk is 12 feet. So there's plenty of room. There's only 2-foot tables that I'm allowed against the building. So that leaves 10 feet from the table to the street. So I don't know why there'd be any obstruction of wheelchair access being able to pass or any other ADA compliant matter. Again, like I said, this has been there in the past for many years. I don't see any obstructions. And I find it kind of confusing how there are so many establishments that have it already with the same footage.
Just as for someone who's a diner who wants to use your sidewalk cafe, how do you going to guarantee that they will be able to use a 2-foot wide cafe? Especially with the need to, if someone's a wheelchair user, how they're going to be able to have that and continue to have a clear path for on the street.
You're saying if a wheelchair is wider than 2 feet?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the ADA usually requires a 36-inch turn radius for people who are in wheelchairs, and I want to make sure that you're going to use all diligent efforts to ensure that wheelchair users and other accessibility users can be able to have access to the sidewalk as well as access to your cafe.
Yes, I mean, the tables will be separated where there'll be space in between for them to be able to turn the chair or any guidance they may need. The sidewalk is a flat sidewalk, so there's no obstructions to go pull right up to the table with a wheelchair if needed. And on a side note, in the dining structure of the street dining, we have room in there as well with ramps, which is ADA compliant. So I don't see any kind of obstructions at all for any of these issues.
Great. And are you committed to ensuring that the clear path remains clear during busy service and non-service hours? That the 10-foot clear path under the rules right now, you'll make sure those are clear?
100%.
And are you planning to put any seating on the cellar door outside the establishment?
The left side of the building is the tenants building, so I won't be putting any chairs there. On the other side, there won't be any seating. What we did use in the past was just like a little cart against the building to keep napkins and forks and stuff like that. So it's more on the left side of the structure.
And so that's going to be on the cellar door?
The utensil stand?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be because it's small, so there is some sidewalk space on the left. If it's, no, it doesn't have to be, sir.
All right, so it's going to be, the cellar door is going to be unobstructed, you're saying?
Unobstructed, correct.
And are you committed to writing a letter ensuring that all diligent efforts to make sure that seating is accessible for wheelchair users, would you put that in writing to the committee and to my office?
Sure. If need be, of course.
All right. Yeah, and I asked you to do that. All right.
Okay. How would I be doing that? Just email to you? Sir,
email it on your letterhead, and we'll share it with committee staff.
Okay. Just stating that I'm going to abide by the rules of ADA?
Yeah, comply with the ADA and clear path rules.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank
No
you.
further questions for me.
Thank you, council member. Are there any members of the committee that has questions for the applicant? Seeing none, this panel is excused. Thank you so much, Joseph. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify remotely or in person regarding this application?
No, Chair, there's no one signed up online or in person to testify.
Thank you, council. This is the last call. If there are any members of the public who wish to testify regarding this application remotely, please press the raise hand button now, or if you are in person, please identify yourself to one of the sergeant at arms. Being that there are no members of the public who wish to testify regarding LU number 58 relating to the application for a sidewalk cafe by Daninos, the public hearing is now closed and these items are now laid over. I will now open the public hearing on LU's numbers 56 and 57 regarding 147-14 Northern Boulevard, a mixed-use residential rezoning proposal in Flushing, Queens, in Councilmember Ung's district. The proposal involves a zoning map and text amendment. Applicant is seeking to build 2 mixed-use residential buildings with approximately 389 apartments. Mandatory inclusionary housing would be mapped as part of the application. So approximately 97 of the apartments would be permanently affordable depending on the affordability option selected. For anyone wishing to testify regarding this proposal remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeant at arms to submit a speaker card. If you would prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Councilmember Ung is not here to provide remarks. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Eric Palatnik. And Councilman Farias has joined us as well.
Hello, Madam Chair.
Hello,
Can you
Eric.
hear me okay?
Council, please administer the affirmation. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for raising your right hand. Could you please state your name for the record?
Eric Palatnik.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony this morning in response to council member questions?
I do.
Thank you.
You may now
Thank you
begin
very
your
much.
testimony, which is limited to 8 minutes, and I will just ask you to please restate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
Sure. My name is Eric Palatnik, and thank you very much, Madam Chair, for making the time. I truly apologize for not being there in person. The hearing was scheduled suddenly last week, and I had an uncontrollable conflict, and I appreciate your permission to allow me to appear remotely. Thank you very much. Hello to all the other council members I see there. Thank you all very much for making the time to be there today to listen to this. We're here today with an exciting proposal for 147-14 Northern Boulevard, which is within an R5 zoning district, tremendously underzoned for its location, consisting of a one-story strip mall, for lack of a better term, or taxpayers. And through this action, which has been well supported so far by the borough president and the community planning board, we're proud to present to you the proposal to change it to an R7X rezoning, which would create nearly 100 affordable apartments in addition to the market rate apartments. So it's really a great opportunity to create quite a bit of housing. If you can go to the next slide, please. This slide tells you everything you need to know about the application, and the rest of it I'll go through and explain to you, but this is really the essence of it, particularly the right-hand side of the screen. It describes exactly what we're seeking to do, which would allow for 2 proposed, it says 11 stories, but it has a basement level, so it really reads from the street as if it's a 12-story building. It's 11 floors and a basement floor. Residential developments with commercial and retail use at ground floor, and then a couple of community facilities, including the Korean American Family Services Corporation, that's going to take up about 10,000 square feet in an arrangement we've made with them to provide local services to the local community from this wonderful organization, and I believe they're even here to speak today. And I should also mention the project is well supported, and we've signed agreements with Local 79, the union, as well as 32 BJ. And both of them have signed agreements with our clients, the applicants, and we intend to utilize their services in any future development should this be approved. More about the building on the right-hand side. It would contain a total of 334,000 square feet of floor area. Of that, as I just mentioned, about 10,000 would be community facility, 35,000 would be ground floor commercial space. And then it would have above that 389 units, about 97 of which would be fully affordable. And it would have at the cellar level and at the second floor level 280 parking spaces, 155 more than are required under the zoning. And that was done in conjunction and agreement with the Community Planning Board, Board 7, who we worked very closely with, as well as the council member during the application process. If you can go to the next slide, please. The image at the top shows you the existing conditions. As you can see, it's as I described a moment ago. It's a series of one-story buildings taking up an entire block front. And what's really interesting, you can see how the zoning is not really working here, is that the buildings are on Northern Boulevard. There are R5 zoning, and there are actually taller buildings, apartment buildings, behind the boulevard. So it's sort of a reverse of really where it should be. And that's what's driving this rezoning. The zoning is quite outdated. Uh, Everything that I mentioned on the left-hand side is what I just spoke about. So I'll skip over that. Next slide, please. This slide shows you what we're proposing to do. The left side shows you the zoning map, the right side existing. The right side shows you the proposed zoning map. This is the land use action that is in front of you to change this map. On the left side, you could see that our property is zoned R5, and you see the big R5 at the bottom of the screen. But you also look up around our property further up and you see R7-1 and you see R6A, and that's because the land uses and the zoning map around our property have been changed to upzone them through the years, but our property has been left out. Also, what you'll see when you look at the right side of the screen is our proposed rezoning of R7X, but you'll also notice that there's a little dashed blue line right below it. That's because we're bringing the zoning district in a little bit to 100 feet from the avenue, right, or the boulevard, Northern Boulevard. Right now, it's mapped at 150 feet, so it goes further than the properties. Properties are about 100 feet deep. So by tailoring the zoning in a little bit, we're bringing it into conformance with current mapping standards adhered to by city planning and previous actions taken by your zoning committee of making rezonings 100-foot deep. And that's what we've done here. More like a corrective action, really. Next slide, please. This slide just gives you an example or a discussion a little bit of that we're changing the commercial zoning district from a C1-2 to a C2-3. As the right-hand side shows, it's really just bringing the zoning district into modern conformance with modern day uses, and it's allowing for uses that we all see all the time. Next slide, please. The next slide gives you more salient information about the development, so we'll skip over because I just went through that. Next slide. This slide is a great slide to orient yourself with, and so that you can see what I was talking about earlier about it all being a one-story strip of stores, which clearly we could still have a strip of stores there, but we could have apartments above it. And that's what we're proposing to do here. You'll see there's a gas station on the far right. The proposal is actually going to, because of that gas station, the proposal is actually going to create less vehicular traffic than the current uses do, because the gas station, of course, draws a lot of cars. You'll also see in the backdrop the apartment buildings that I was speaking of. If we can skip ahead now, 2 slides, please. We can go right to the AMI. This is the guts of the affordability, and we show you here that we've got 25% of the units of 389 at option 1 creates 97 affordable units. I should note there have been numerous discussions with the council member's office about increasing the amount of 2 bedrooms and reducing the amount of studios in the development, and we have plans to do so. We have not yet come up with the final unit count because we have to go and, if this should be approved, there's another step. It would go to a marketing agent and they would go through the size of the units and everything like that. But we do agree to what has been asked of us, which is to increase the number of 1 bedrooms, increase the number of 2 bedrooms. Next slide, please. This can give you a good image for what the building is going to look like. As I mentioned before, there's a cellar level, and then there's a basement level. There's a subcellar level too. Those will both have parking and storage for the retail uses. Then there's a basement level, which is really the ground floor. And then there's the first floor that'll have parking on it. It's really the second floor. It's just an architecture nomenclature. And then the building will be rising to a total height of 145 feet. Next slide, please. This is a good plan to show you an image to show you how tall the buildings are around us. I mentioned a moment ago that we're going to be at 145 feet. I think it's 125 feet. I believe I misspoke. And we're showing you here that all the buildings around us are not necessarily the same height as ours. Some are analogous, some are a little bit taller in the backdrop, but they all sort of are around 100 feet, 75 feet, 124 feet, 90 feet, 143, 163 feet. So what we're showing you here is that this stretch of Northern Boulevard has buildings of similar height. We're actually the anomaly by only being at one story. And that pretty much concludes our proposal. I could go through the rest of my presentation, but it's all going to repeat itself.
Thank you. Your
And
time
I'd much
expired.
rather, yeah, my time's expired. So we'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. And thank you, Madam Chair, for your time.
If you need more time, we could give you 2 more minutes.
I appreciate that, but no, I think I've covered everything, and I'd
I
be
think
happy
you
to
did too. I think you did an
tell her-
excellent job.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We've also been joined by council members Carr and Salam. I have a few questions. I know you briefly discussed the unit count already, but if you could just address for the committee here, Community Board 7 and Queensborough President raised concerns about the high number of studio units. And as you know, our city has a goal to create more units that is more fitting for family size. How have you responded to this concern, and what will the AMI breakdown be for family size units? You mentioned 2, but what about the 3-bedroom units?
Right now, what we're proposing, we're not proposing to have 3-bedroom units. We are proposing to have 2-bedroom units, and we have increased the amount of 2-bedroom units that we had before. When we spoke to the community board, we were at 108. We have now done a preliminary analysis that shows that we can bring those 2 bedrooms up to 122. And that would be done by reducing the amount of 1-bedroom units and reducing the amount of studios. And we could still tailor those numbers even further. So we're eager to comply with their requests. We too want to meet the area's demands and needs for housing. And we'd be happy to work on these numbers further as we go through the process.
Thank you. There are currently 17 retail units on the development site occupied by small businesses. Will the retail development and the new development be designed for larger businesses or smaller retail? And will existing tenants be offered relocation or right to return services?
Every tenant has been spoken to within the building, and all of them have been given the chance to come back. I believe there's a dispute going on with one of the tenants where there's a rent dispute, and maybe there might be an eviction proceeding going on with one of the tenants. So they're obviously not coming back. That's a personal business matter between ownership and that tenant that has nothing to do with this rezoning. It's just a course of business. But those businesses that are in good stead with ownership right now and that they're happy with the arrangement, both parties have all been offered the chance to come back into the new development.
Okay, and what on-site open space, if any, is being proposed?
A ton of open space. The entire rooftop of the building is going to be open space. And as a result, there will be exponential amounts more open space on the property than there is right now, because there is no open space right now. So you have 2 buildings that are going to be occupying the entire block front, and the rooftop of both buildings, as well as terraces within the building itself, its setbacks, are all going to be landscaped. The rooftop will have a garden area. It'll have an area to retain water. It will also have an area for solar. So it'll encompass quite many green features in the rooftop to utilize the green space, both for recreation and for environmental features.
Thank you. I now invite my colleagues to ask questions. Does any members of the committee have questions? All right, this panel is now excused. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify remotely or in person regarding this proposal?
Yes, Chair, we have 2 members of the public here in person that would like to testify, and we also have 3 people signed up online.
All right, I now call Theo Perez and Naja Barliria. For members of the public here to testify, please note that witnesses will generally be called in panels of 3. If you are a member of the public signed up to testify, please stand by when you hear your name, which we just called, to prepare to speak when I indicate that you may begin. Please also note that once all panelists in your group have completed their testimony, if remotely, you will be removed from the meeting as a group, and the next group of speakers will be introduced. Once removed, participants may continue to view the live stream broadcast of this hearing on the council website. Members of the public will be given 2 minutes to speak. Please do not begin until the sergeant at arms has started the clock. The following individuals, you may begin. Sorry, Theo Perez and Naja Baleria. So Theo can start and then Naja. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, good morning, council members and Chair Lewis. My name is Theo Perez. I'm here today on behalf of SEIU Local 32BJ. 32BJ is the largest union of property service workers in the country. We represent over 175,000 members across 13 states, including tens of thousands of commercial property service workers, security officers, and residential building staff here in New York City. 32BJ supports responsible developers who invest in the communities where they build, and I'm happy to report that the developers behind this proposed project have made a credible commitment to creating good jobs for the workers who will permanently staff the buildings. Good jobs like these mean prevailing wages, meaningful benefits, and a pathway to the middle class for the local community members who fill them. In addition, we need more housing to be built in every neighborhood of New York City to ensure that working families are not displaced by dwindling supply and skyrocketing rents. The proposed development will include about 400 residential units, roughly 100 of which will be permanently income restricted for low to middle income New Yorkers. So as the cost of living rises and working New Yorkers struggle to stay in their homes, it's more important now than ever that we create both affordable housing and good jobs which uphold industry standards in the city. For these reasons, 32BJ is in strong support of the 14714 Northern Boulevard project. Thank you.
Thank you, Naja.
Good morning, council members, chair. Thank you so much for hearing our testimony. My name is Naja. I'm here on behalf of Laborers Local 79, which is part of the Mason Tenders District Council. I'm painfully also a Mets fan. And here on behalf of 17,000 construction workers in the greater New York area and hundreds of our members who live in Flushing, Murray Hill, other surrounding areas surrounding the project. And, our members have 2 urgent priorities, which we believe are also borough priorities, as was mentioned, affordable housing and good jobs. We believe mixed income projects can serve a variety of community members, families. We were happy to hear that 2 bedrooms were upped as part of the proposal. This project will include 97 permanently affordable apartments. We've seen Queens change a lot, and projects with regulated, stabilized housing will help stabilize communities rather than displace them. And at the same time, the commitment to use Local 79 laborers means this will be built to the highest quality and safety standards. Will provide family-sustaining wages, healthcare, and economic security to laborers who live and work in the community. We think this is an example of responsible development, and we thank you for your attention, your thoughtful questions, and consideration, and we urge you to approve this project. Thank you.
Are there any members of the committee that have questions for this panel? Thank you both for being here. You are now excused. I will now switch to online testimony. The following individuals we would like to hear from. J.He Fisher, Terrence Park, and Anzella Masanian. We'll start with J.He.
You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Gia Fisher. I'm the Executive Director of the Korean American Family Service Center, also known as KFSC. KFSC is a community-based nonprofit organization that supports and empowers adults, youth, and children to lead safe and healthy lives with dignity, compassion, and mutual respect, serving over 3,000 annually. For decades, we have served predominantly Korean and Asian communities in Queens and beyond, including many immigrant survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other forms of gender-based violence. I'm here to express CAFAS's support for this rezoning application and for our partnership with Northern 147-149 LLC as the community facility partner in this development. This project is important to our organization and to the community we serve. At this moment, CAFAC operates out of two separate sites because we have simply outgrown our current footprint. Our programs continue to expand, but our physical space has not kept pace with the level of need in our community. Over the next 2 years alone, we expect to grow by at least 10 additional staff members in order to respond to rising demand for our services. For staffing growth alone is not enough. We do not have the space if we do not have the space to serve people properly. Right now, many of our programs consistently face waitlists, not because the need is unclear, but because we do not have enough room to hold them. This includes critical services such as our youth program, our economic empowerment program, and mental health counseling. There are lifelines for families, survivors, young people, and community members who are seeking safety, healing, stability, and opportunity in a culturally affirming way. As outlined in the LOI with Northern 147-149 LLC, this project will offer a need for between 9,000 and 12,000 square feet of community facility space, including accessible ground floor space. This partnership offers a rare and meaningful opportunity to create a long term home for work in the very community we serve. For KFSC, this project is an investment in safety, healing, and dignity. It is an opportunity to build the kind of permanent community space our families deserve, a place where survivors of gender based violence and community members can find support, where young people can grow, and where our community
Your time
can thrive
expired.
for
Thank you.
generations to come. We respectfully urge the council to support this rezoning. Thank you.
I will now call on Councilmember Thomas Henry that has a question.
Good morning, Ms. Fisher. My question is regarding, I guess, the long-term agreement you have with the developer in terms of the space. Like, do you foresee being able to make this your permanent home at an affordable rate for the organization to grow?
Yes. So in the outline, in the LOI that's outlined, we have an also option to, it's a 10-year lease and option to purchase at the end of the lease.
Okay, option to purchase the ground floor,
Yeah.
the community space. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Now we're going to hear from Terrence Park.
You may begin.
Good morning, Chair Lewis, honorable City Council members, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. My name is Terrence Park, a member of the First United Methodist Church of Flushing for 40 years, which is located a block south from the development site. We have more than 1,000 church members residing near the church. I was also the organizer of the Murray Hill Merchants Association, which represents about 100 small businesses 2 blocks away from the development site. When we first heard about the development plan, we were concerned about one major issue, parking. As you know, parking is scarce and very difficult in this area. The church and business people were deeply concerned about the lack of parking, which would hurt both the church and the business. But over the course of conversation with the developers, they understood the parking is key to the church, the business, and the community. And they added 155 more parking spaces, bringing the total of 280, which we are very happy with. On top of that, we are very happy with 25% of affordable housing will be added to the development. Will the church and the business welcome development because it benefits the church, revives the business, and makes the entire community happy? So I strongly support this development. Thank you very much. I yield my time back to Chair.
Thank you. Anzella?
You may begin.
Hello, this is Angela Messian. I'm part of the designer group. So I want to thank you for everyone that participated in this meeting, and I want to support the development as well.
All right, thank you for your testimony. If there are any members of the public who wish to testify regarding this proposal remotely, please press the raise hand button now. If you are in person, please identify yourself to one of the sergeant at arms, and this is the last call. Being there are no members of the public who wish to testify regarding LUs numbers 56 and 57 relating to 147-14 Northern Boulevard mixed-use residential rezoning, the public hearing is now closed and items are now laid over. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and council staff, and the sergeant at arms for participating in today's meeting. This meeting is now hereby adjourned.